what's happening, y'all? Welcome in to Snaps. Aaron, T-Bob. I did not forget the name of the show just now. I am still setting up my chat windows, the feed, and we are good to go. What up, y'all? Welcome in. Super pumped. Just absolutely ecstatic. Not only is it a beautiful, crisp winter day here in Louisiana, but we are on the edge of big time football. We kind of got some of our first taste of some of the good bowl games last night. We got more good bowl games coming up for the next couple of days. And then obviously we have the playoffs to break down. I mean, we got things like Alabama, Michigan in the Rose Bowl. Are you kidding me? Let's go, dude. Happy New Year to you as well, Greg Skipworth in the chat. What up, Hot Like Poo? What up, William Anthony? Some guy. Hot Like Poo 94. It's so funny. Says this is a good time for CFP, but I hate that opt-out culture is a thing. That's just one of those things, man, where just make peace with it. It's not that big of a deal. You know, it is what it is. Like you kind of, and it'll suck worse some years than others, right? Like I even kind of feel for Georgia fans right now because their bowl game has become wholly uninteresting. Whereas if we had gotten a full strength Georgia on FSU, it would have been one of the premier matchups of the entire year. So it could be a huge bummer. But then for other teams, like that was an awesome way for USC to end last night, right? Was that a trimming of the fat of the program? They have the high character guys left over now. Look at Gundy getting his 10th win of the season for LSU fans, right? Like everybody wants to see how the new coordinator is going to look. So it's just a different.
It's a glorified spring game. It's a spring game,
but way better than a spring game.
It is better. It is better than a spring game, but that's you just talked a couple of key points. Like you trim the fat, you start looking towards the future. And LSU is a prime example with Nussmeier going to be the starting quarterback in the game. You start to see what our roster is going to look like. It's a more badass spring game that's off campus for maybe some of these schools and some of these bowl games, a better location, a little bit more fun. But that's what it is.
I mean, but no. It's
a chance for the fans. It's a chance for the fans, and there's nothing wrong with this. I'm not like boo-hooing it. It's a chance for the fans to get excited about what the team's going to look like next year.
But bro, spring football is lame. Okay, this is not. You're still playing somebody else, and sometimes both teams absolutely care about being there, and it means a ton. Like that means a lot. Lincoln Riley needed that win last night, like I alluded to. Like I think Brian Kelly really needs to win against Wisconsin. Now I think he'll get it.
What are you more interested in Brian Kelly getting the win or seeing what Garrett Nussmeier looks like?
Both. That's why it's more fun than a spring game, and you're playing somebody else. So I don't know. I still think it's awesome, and I still think it matters. Like Tennessee fans finally got. Now to your point, Tennessee fans got their wish. Joe Milton not going to be the starting quarterback for the bowl game. I think I imagine the money or somebody spoke up loud enough was like, hey, Joe,
let's see what it's worth.
We loved you this year. We didn't pay you $8 million. Okay. It's time to start to look forward to the future. Obload 4 saying A&M QB looked good last night. And this came from a Longhorn fan. Yeah, he didn't even start the game. Dylan Southern goes out first play of the game. So whatever. Bowl season's rolling right along. It's finally starting to heat up. And I'm very, very excited. Hit the like button if you're watching, youtube.com/@volume-snaps. Share it with your friends. We'll talk a bit about the Miller Moss show last night, and then we'll start to dive in to these semifinals. But Miller Moss for USC, that's the quarterback who was the backup quarterback all year long, went off 372 through the air, a Holiday Bowl, I believe Pac-12 bowl and USC bowl game record, 6 touchdowns through the air for Miller Moss. I got 2 main takeaways.
What do you got?
Actually, I got 1 main takeaway. I now clearly see why Malachi Nelson left, right? And it's not to say that Miller Moss is awesome, but it's just saying this is validation of Lincoln Riley saying Malachi Nelson wasn't good enough. Even before Nelson left, Miller Moss was going to start, and having Miller Moss, who looked pretty good. No, he's not going to do that every night. I mean, we can get into it, but looked pretty good. He's still transfer portal shopping, which lets you know that he didn't even think Nelson was as good as Moss, and he still thinks Moss needs competition as well. So that's all I'm saying is that you see now why Malachi Nelson wasn't just immediately slotted in. He wasn't as good as this guy.
And if you just woke up this morning, didn't watch the game last night, and you're like, oh, 372, 6 touchdowns. You're like, oh my God, this guy is the, just the next coming of Caleb Williams there at USC, and just another quarterback for Lincoln Riley to kind of, put through the system, turn him into a first pick in the NFL draft, get him ready for a Heisman run next year, all that. And I'll tell you this, for those, just go watch the highlights. And I like the kid. I mean, listen, he moved around.
Some wild play, bro.
Here we go. I'm going to start my famous. I'm going to talk good about you, and then I'm going to kind of lay down. Moved around the pocket well, threw with great touch. That's all.
Touch is one way to put it. Those are some fucking moon balls,
rainbows. Yeah. You better throw it with a lot of anticipation if you have the arm strength of Miller Moss, and it's hard to tell on tape compared to like being in person, but it was pretty obvious that like he doesn't have the same type of arm talent, but it does show you though that the lure of being around Lincoln Riley and being in his system, a quarterback that maybe doesn't have that electric first round talent arm can still go out there and throw 6 damn touchdowns.
Well, it also
that's impressive stuff.
They thought that they had an advantage, or at least Miller did. So they had advantage when it came to their receivers against Louisville DBs, because almost every highlight was a slightly off throw with a Louisville DB just getting sunned in like just one way or another. But there was good stuff, like you said, move around that pocket. Maybe it was a touchdown to make it 28-14.
Yep.
When he step up, rolls out, and then it's like everything's perfectly, and then the throw comes, and it's like, but hey, dude, it fucking dude, it worked. But it worked. So shout out Miller Moss.
I'll tell you this. So I think Lincoln needs he definitely needs to get another quarterback in the portal. I'll tell you that right now. Like you're about to go to a significantly better conference, a hell of a conference next year in the Big Ten. And like we always talk about, like first impressions for all these schools. It's hard for me to walk away from that game last night. I know they won, and I know he threw 6 touchdowns, but saying that like that team is going to be ready next year to join the Big Ten and not just be middle of the pack.
Look, we'll see. I think I'm not. I mean, again, that is Miller Moss's first real start too, right? So like we have to give him some room for improvement as well. I'm not saying he can pull arm strength out of a hat, but like there's certainly refinement that could take place. You bring somebody in to compete with him.
He played great. I don't think like you can get much better than what he did execution wise. I'm just saying from a talent standpoint, this isn't Kyler. This isn't Baker. This isn't Caleb. This is not any of the quarterbacks that he's had previously that are bona fide first pick in the NFL draft guys, Heisman worthy.
Is Caleb Williams a system quarterback if Miller Moss can go throw 6 touchdowns?
I don't think he's a system quarterback. I think anyone who is under Lincoln Riley is going to have success. So I guess if you want to categorize that as it, I think this is it's a great system. It is an NFL system. You have one of the best minds, if not the best offensive mind in college football, calling plays and as your head coach OC. So like, I don't think it's part of it is the system, yes, but I also think Caleb is that talented. Like people aren't like this isn't the air raid. Like I think you can make the excuse for a guy that's in the air raid offense. Like, okay, can that translate to the NFL? What you do at USC and under Lincoln Riley, why it may be exceptional and put you in situations that are advantageous for a quarterback, I still think it does translate decently well to the next level. Like, I mean, look at Baker stayed around. Baker's having a great season right now. Kyler's Kyler's gone his own damn way. I do think Caleb Williams is pretty damn good quarterback that did benefit from being with Lincoln, though.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, dude. That's where
it's not the air raid.
You got to trust your evaluation because every great quarterback generally has a great coach behind him as well, right? Like it's hard to have the level of statistical success that some of these QBs have and not have a pairing that just works for one reason or another. I was surprised we didn't get a Maserati Miller Moss last night, but hopefully next year. I do think this is a big win for I think the more interesting thing than even any of this quarterback talk, last thing, and we'll move on because I really want to dive into these playoffs. Is almost this idea of, well, all USC had all these bad headlines pouring out of them over this last month. Did they trim the fat in terms of character? Maybe not in terms of losing some overall talent, but in terms of character, because last night that looked like a team that actively wanted to be there. And when Lincoln Riley in the postgame said, it's crazy, I played in all these things and we could have come out and not cared about this game, but this was actually one of the most fun wins of his career. I actually took that at face value. Like, I didn't think that was just coach speak. I think he generally meant that because it's been a really rough year. It's been an awful recent news cycle. And for that team to kind of galvanize and link arms and join and put on a performance like that, I think that matters. I think that matters going into next year from a culture building standpoint.
I'm trying to say this in a way where you're not going to completely lose your mind, but we've talked about before with Alabama, and for a couple of years, Alabama just kind of sitting back and saying, okay, we have Bryce Young, and we're just going to let Bryce Young be Superman, and we're just observers. Yeah. We're being a fan of Bryce Young, and if shit hits the fan, Superman's going to save us. Superman's going to drive down the field. He's going to do what he did versus Texas. He's going to make some crazy plays, boom, and go out there and execute. And we're not really fully or as engaged as we need to be because we just feel like we don't have to do that. We got Michael Jordan, and he's going to go out there and score 40, do his triple double, all that good stuff. Was there a feeling over the past 2 years that we have Caleb Williams, one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in maybe the past decade, if not more, and we're just going to sit back and let him do his thing? And then last night, it's kind of like, okay, well, we don't have Superman anymore. Like, if we want to start next season, like 2024 off on the right foot and win this bowl game and dominate, like, we have to play better at all facets of the game. Like, is there any similarity of your mind? Because those two quarterbacks are different. Like, I put Bryce and Caleb in a different category from what I've seen in years past, just because of the playmaking ability, inside the pocket, outside the pocket, legs, all that, the creativity. They're a video game quarterback. And sometimes you can just sit back and watch those guys like Michael Vick and just like, oh my God, and forget that you're a player. You're not a fan. You have to go out there and execute yourself.
No, it's true. I mean, it is kind of weird to think about, but that sort of stuff does happen, and it's insidious because you can't I think that's where it maybe comes on the coaches to try to avoid allowing that kind of complacency to creep in, but it even happens to the coaches as well. And as you said, I think you saw some of that at Alabama, and perhaps you've seen some of that USC as well. Either way, I think it's a big win for Lincoln and Company going forward. All right, it's time to talk playoffs, but first, holla from our friends over at DraftKings. It's parade time in Pasadena, where tradition meets college football action in one epic bowl game. And with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can make every play count. New customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on college football. So if you think this is where Michigan and Jim Harbaugh finally break through, or you think the song remains the same and the Crimson Tide and Nick Saban lift the trophy once again, either way, you play on DraftKings. So download the app now, use the code T-Bob, T-B-O-B, and new customers score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on college football, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code T-Bob. The crown is yours. Okay, let's dive in and look at my camera, boys. Working again, by the way. Look at that. No more stutter. Fine. Finally got it working again. I'm basically a tech expert. All right. Let's dive into these playoff games, and let's start with the granddaddy of them all, Alabama, Michigan, the Rose Bowl. And we're gonna do this like actual sports talk show style with a little game here. Yeah, at least for the beginning, right? And we'll let the conversation come. But you see it right there in the bottom of the screen, Aaron Murray. Alabama wins this game if
they control the explosive pass game or control explosives in the pass game from Michigan. I don't think Michigan really has that on the outside, but you saw last year, what got Michigan at least the opportunities to have success versus TCU, especially late, and then obviously to what they did versus Ohio State in the game before the Big Ten championship was throw the ball down the field, create explosive plays themselves. And JJ has improved as a quarterback. So like for Alabama, you want to go in there with confidence that you're one of the best secondaries in the country, if not the best secondaries in the country, but you can't let the big plays happen over your head. So I think if they can control the explosives, turn Michigan into a one-dimensional team running the football, I think they're physical enough up front to win that battle. So I think that's all they got to do, man. Just don't go beat over the top.
Well, okay, so that is I absolutely see your logic, how you arrived there, but if that's how you're viewing the game, then you think of Alabama as a heavy favorite. because you're saying that the one thing that they have to do is stop the thing that Michigan doesn't do. Like,
just don't let them do it.
Like, just don't let them do the thing they already don't do.
Yeah,
but you're right.
Don't let them do it,
because the game that I keep going back to when I think about
they're
how
gonna
Michigan
smash
wins is that Ohio State game, right?
Yeah.
Like, if and we'll get into Michigan's. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm kind of with you because I wrote Alabama wins if the secondary is really as impenetrable as we think it is. And then you look at the coverage grade on PFF, a 92.9 coverage grade for the year. Some guy says Bama will show, Nick will have them ready, Harbaugh will not. More time Harbaugh has to prep, the worse his teams do. So that is really, to me, the great intangible here is the coaching advantage that Nick Saban has. I mean, the record in these scenarios for Saban, if it's a national championship or a playoff game and he has 30 or more days, he's 9-0. And then I think there's a game where he had 26 days and a game where he had 13 days. And if you factor those in, he's 10-1. Now, this ain't 10-1 against the SEC. This is 10-1 in playoff and or championship games, right? So like mathematically, Aaron, you should be like the most elite of the elite would win these at like a 65% rate. And he's 10-1. So like that's the thing that I can't shake more than anything. I think Michigan on the field is way closer, if not even better than Alabama is. Like we're now we'll find out if maybe I am guilty of overinflating the Big Ten and everything else. But I think Michigan's defense is great. I'll get into why I think Michigan's going to win. But like to me, really, Alabama
Michigan's going to win.
I am.
We'll save that real quick. I do want to ask you something because we had Rick Neuheisel on yesterday. For those who haven't watched it, go back and watch that. I thought he made an interesting point about having fun and enjoying the month in between conference championship weekend and playoff time or a bowl game, whatever it may be. And kind of that's why Nick Saban does have such a great track record. You think Nick Saban would be this hard ass, and he does allow for that time to kind of relax, enjoy the moment, be a kid, kind of recharge the batteries a little bit. And his belief of like Harbaugh is like, you know what, as soon as that conference championship game is over, where it's grind mode for 4 weeks leading up to this game. What were your initial thoughts on that? Like, do you buy it? Does it really matter? Like, and do you think these kids need to recharge, or they see kind of that trophy at the end of the runway there?
No. I mean, look, I think speaking of personal experience, one of the big differences in that 2012 national championship game was Alabama had rested during that month off. They'd rested and studied. We did like a full camp, basically. Harbaugh or Les Miles, a prodigy, from a student of who? Bo Schembechler. Jim Harbaugh, a student of who? Bo Schembechler. Very odd, quirky old Michigan coach. What do Miles and Harbaugh have in common? They're both odd and quirky as fuck. Like, they're very similar styles. I know Harbaugh approaches practice in the same way. Now, I don't know. Maybe he's evolved, right? Maybe he's evolved past that, but Harbaugh has traditionally not done well on this stage. And Nick Saban is unbeatable on the stage. And that's okay. So here's where I'm at. If you just compared the two teams, I would choose Michigan because I do think they've looked like the more consistent team throughout the year as opposed to Alabama, who has looked very fallible at certain times this year.
Yep.
The fucking issue is Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I guess if I'm picking, I have to be drug across the finish line saying Alabama because it's just fucking Nick Saban. It's against Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I do like this. Last year, Michigan entered way overconfident against TCU. This year, Michigan has the motivation of fear. So I do think they have a little fear of this Alabama team. The question is, do they let it infect them or do they use it healthily to motivate them and help them really lock in and get ready? But no, it is it's a fucking save it. It's the Saban factor, dude.
It is.
It's a classic. Don't overthink it. It's Nick Saban, 30 days. He doesn't lose on this stage. And Jim Harbaugh's never won. Now, so if you both say that Alabama's going to win, then how does Michigan pull off the upset? First, and I think they're very capable of doing this. Can you force the old Jalen Milroe out of hiding? This is a damn solid Michigan defense. I don't think Jalen Milroe's faced a defense that's good. And Here's the deal, Aaron. Who has Jalen Milroe really shined against that was good defensively? Find me the game.
No.
You won't find one.
No.
Okay? And so this defense could maybe get that old Jalen Milroe that had them losing in the first half because of dumb turnovers against Ole Miss, or first half against Tennessee because of dumb turnovers, or lost to Texas because some really costly turnovers. Like, can you force him out of hiding? Also, Michigan wins if they can stay committed enough to the run. Committed, don't have to dominate, but committed enough to have enough success and force Alabama to add to the box. It goes back to what you kind of mentioned from the other side, where if you can get them in that Ohio State position of 2 years ago where they're having to really respect it and try to add to it, like getting one-on-one is going to be the only way to try to create wins for these Michigan weapons against Bama's secondary.
Yeah, and I think one way to do it, and one of my keys would be to, if they win, if JJ McCarthy is able to use his legs to not only extend plays, but to get great critical third downs. You know, this is it kind of goes into Alabama's secondary is elite, and it's going to be tough for, I would say, an average to maybe above average receiving core for Michigan to consistently win one-on-one battles. So how do you kind of counter that? Well, you have a quarterback who is athletic. You have a quarterback who is mobile, a guy that when he looks up and gets through his read and nothing's there, is able to pull it down and get you 3, 4, 5 first downs and extend the drive. So I think JJ's legs are going to have to be critical. So like I would say, like, hey, JJ, can you get me 4 or 5 first downs? Can JJ get 4 or 5 first downs with his legs? I think that's massive. And then obviously you said, I mean, I think everyone knows this. Like, if you can get Jalen throwing interceptions, that's great. I'll do a different angle here. I think you can't let Alabama's offensive line dominate. And we've seen the evolution of
I don't think they will. Do you think they will?
We've seen the evolution of Jalen. We've also seen the evolution of this offensive line. Like, they have gotten significantly better from what we saw versus Texas to what we saw versus Georgia. Like, I haven't seen in 3 years. And obviously there's not a first rounder right now in Georgia's defense line. I haven't seen Georgia defensive linemen be lifted and thrown around like I did in the SEC championship game. They dominated the line of scrimmage. Alabama was the more physical football team. I think Michigan is kind of built themselves as the big bad bullies in the Big Ten. Their next step of evolution is their next evolution is, can you be that big bad bully of college football? Alabama's been the big bad bully. Georgia's been the big bad bully. Michigan has been just envious of that model. Are they there yet to actually win the line of scrimmage on both sides? Like, that's kind of what Harbaugh's been trying to build to. This is his best opportunity to do that. Can they be the more physical team on offensive line and defensive line?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they're capable. I think they're capable, but you know, that's why we got to play the game. We will see. I mean, they did create the beat UGA segment of practice. The beat UGA
screwed
period.
Up. They should have done beat Alabama. They done messed up. They done messed up.
But man, do I want to pick Michigan? Who are you going to pick? You're picking Alabama.
No, I'm Alabama. I think the Nick Saban factor is so hard to overlook. I think the weapons are better. I think the defense for Alabama is better.
That's a key. So the reason why I keep going back to the Saban thing as well is because so much of this reminds me of the evaluation between Oregon and Washington, where it's just everybody kind of ignoring a lot of evidence and saying, no, Alabama's better. But the key difference there is, like, that was Kalen DeBoer versus Dan Lanning. Yeah, I can't get away from the same factor either. I hate it, but I guess I'll select Alabama because Nick Saban just doesn't lose these games. Again, though,
I feel like you're leaning though to take away the coaches. You think? Yeah, I feel like you think Michigan's a better
overrated. Roster. I think Alabama's a little overrated. I think Michigan's a more complete team. I just think that you're going against the best of all time in this scenarios in Nick Saban. So I'll choose
Who does America want to win?
My official.
Who does America want to win? This is a tough one. Like, are people sick of Saban?
Probably Alabama because it's just another. I mean, with the Michigan cheating stuff, it's probably Alabama because it's just, okay, sure, is Alabama again. Then again, maybe not, because a lot of America was very mad they got put in.
I don't think a lot of people were mad. I think people were more mad that FSU was not included. I think they understand the reasoning for Alabama being in now. I know you just
maybe so
blew your mind with kind of that, but
yeah, maybe
no one's mad at Alabama. They're mad at the committee. They're mad at the situation that kind of unfolded. But like Alabama deserved to get in there.
One begets the other. No, okay. We're not rehashing this. We're not rehashing this.
We're not.
So I don't know who America wants to win more, honestly. I'd go either way. Because also sometimes the new champion is fun and exciting. It's just that Michigan, with all their cheating bullshit, made it like less fun and exciting to cheer for. If they hadn't had that, I think it was definitely be Michigan. All right.
Yeah.
Unless you're an Ohio State fan. Real quick before we get into the next game, Greg Hendricks asks, hey guys, what's the best merchandise you ever got playing in a bowl? I know what mine is there. In 2007, yeah, like bowl swag. 2007, we played. Anyway, I got a lot of cool shit, right? Got like a Lazy Boy, other shit. But in 2007, I got a Nintendo Wii for the national championship game when they were impossible to get. Got a Nintendo Wii, and it was awesome, dude. Oh my God. Wii bowling. I used to get a flat of Natty Lights. We're talking tall boys, okay? 24 16-ounce Natty Lights. You want to talk about inflation? Beginning of college, I got these. It's 16 tall boy or 24 tall boys, which equals 32 regular beers. They were $9.99 at the local liquor store freshman year. So we're talking 33 cents per 12-ounce beer. Incredible deal. By my senior year, they were $15.99. Unbelievable. But I used to love playing Wii bowling, and I'd sit on the couch, and I'd hang my left arm off the edge of the couch, and then I'd have my beer on my right. And so I could just sit there and play Wii bowling and drink beer just constantly. Boom, boom. Super Mario Galaxy was dope. Mario Kart was great. I mean, Wii was a great console. Wii Sports, who didn't love it? What? You didn't ever drink beer and play Wii bowling?
No, we would do shots playing like Madden or NCAA. You give a touchdown, take a shot.
Madden or NCAA? Not even any FIFA?
No, we were FIFA was me and the big boys.
Okay.
We do always beat me and the big boys played FIFA.
I would fucking smash you at FIFA, Aaron Murray.
I would dominate you.
You don't even know, bruh. I'm a fucking FIFA salty ass vet. You don't want to, bruh. You would not.
Ask your fellow center David Andrews.
Would not touch me.
Fucking run.
You
FIFA
would not
back in the
touch
day.
me. You would not touch me.
Okay.
I swear to God. Who do you want me to beat you with? I mastered FIFA. I mean, I played it every year probably for 8 to 10 years, but I mastered it in actually a random edition World Cup 2010, where I would only play online with Team USA. And so I became a fucking beast on defense, dog. You can't get through to you can't get through me. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Okay, we'll find out.
Is there any way we need to figure out a way to stream a FIFA match between us so I can whip your ass publicly and everybody can watch?
Dobby, Aaron, why does everyone think they can beat you? The Slim Shady guy, I thought he can throw.
Slim Shady guy.
Hey, he really wants that competition, man. He keeps hitting me up about like tomorrow. I'm like, dude, he'd
probably win, but it doesn't matter. Like to that point, like it's a no-win. It's a no-win situation for you.
It's a no-win. It's obviously a no-win situation for me too, because like I get 2 days of vacation with my wife, and she's like, "You're gonna go spend an hour doing this quarterback competition for social media clips when we could be enjoying our 2 days away from the kids together." I'm like, yeah, it's probably right.
Whatever, pussy. I mean, how come I get all the shit for not cutting my hair, but he's not getting shit for bailing out of Brooks Austin's?
Because I never promised I would do it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Yes,
no,
I
you're
fucking
not.
after
Okay,
April, I'm 1,000% doing it. We're getting Hot Boy Summer ready, and we're kicking off Hot Boy Summer after our brother's wedding with the fuckboy fade.
Hey, Justin with the super chat.
Justin Kaffenberger, 1999. I don't see how Bama loses. I think Michigan's defense is overrated. Too many cupcake offenses in the Big Ten, and Bama's defense going to play bumper run coverage, load the box, and they don't have a wide receiver to get open. Again, Justin, the thing I would say though here, first off, I just don't know that I trust any of this idea about Michigan's defense being pumped up by the Big Ten being shit. It just reeks of SEC bias whenever I see it, and it's all the SEC guys telling me it. The other thing I would say is, you probably didn't see how the fuck Bama would lose to Auburn in Auburn. Like, I can't shake that. That wasn't long ago. Mm-hmm. What happens if that Bama shows up? Like, they lose. And so it's not like out of the realm of possibility. The only difference, again, is Nick Saban. But again, you didn't see fucking.
Did you watch Michigan versus Iowa, though? Did you watch Michigan versus Iowa? That was not a
that could happen. I get it, and that's why
game
that's not, and that's why, like, that is the perfect counter to that argument. No, I mean, fuck that. Like, Michigan's looked like shit kind of down the stretch, and they controlled the game against two very good opponents. But JJ McCarthy doesn't even remember to throw a forward pass. He's one touchdown, one pick in the last 4 games. He's gone sub 150 through the air in the last 3 games. I think he was hurt. I think maybe him getting healthy would be great. But it's just this idea, like, the idea of I don't see how Bama could lose. Well, they've almost shown you twice how they could lose this season.
No, Alabama easily can lose this football game, but I just...
Yeah, but we got to pick. Yeah, you got to pick.
You got to pick. I'm going Bama.
And I'll go with you. I'll go Bama as well, unfortunately. Motherfucker. Yeah. Bad taste. All right. Now let's move on to the next game. Texas versus Washington. Uber sexy here. Sugar Bowl. Absolutely love it. What a matchup. Another SEC Big Ten game, right? The great irony of this year in which we finally get 4 really good representations from 4 of the different Power 5 conferences. It's really just the Big Ten and the SEC all over again. Justin Kaffenberger, $5. If JJ doesn't go ballistic, Michigan loses. I don't know about ballistic, but as Aaron said, he's got to be big. He's got to be like, do what Jalen Milroe did to Georgia. He doesn't have to be awesome. He has to make the big plays when he can. And I think Milroe is better suited doing that than JJ, as evidenced by this season. So we'll see. Texas, Washington, though. Aaron Murray, Texas wins
if they keep Penix under 275 yards passing. That's it. I mean, you.
Wait,
I don't hate Washington's run game. You know, we've seen it kind of evolve. Obviously, a good, an offensive line that just got crowned the Joe Moore Award winner. Like, it's a talented unit. I would still take Texas's front 7 and those D tackles in a phone booth over Washington's offensive lines. Like, if you're going to tell me that Washington feels confident enough just to run the football, then good for them. I don't see it happening.
They don't got to run it great.
Texas secondary is a liability. So, like, if you tell me that, like, they kept Penix under 275, don't let them get to 300. I think Texas's offense is good enough to put up some numbers. That tells me that Washington's probably somewhere in the low 30s. I think you win that type of ball game. So you can't let him go off.
If I don't, see. So yeah, I guess the difference here is I don't, and so maybe this is why Texas wins. If I don't see a world though where you stop the rushing attack, like shut it down and hold Penix under 275.
I do. That's the beauty of Texas's defense. Like, I always talk about this game because it was the perfect example of how to stop an elite offense like this. Go back to when the San Bay Buccaneers beat the Kansas City Chiefs, was it like 4 years ago? Tom Brady's first year in Tampa. What did they do defensively? This is when Kansas City obviously had Tyreek, they had Kelsey, and a couple of really talented receivers. They played too high. They played cover 2 and stopped the run because they had Sue and a bunch of other like elite linebackers, and like the Chiefs couldn't run it. And as a former quarterback, it's like you can't throw the football in the cover 2. It's a nightmare. There's just not a lot of holes there. It's not what you want to get. You want to be able to run the football to force a team to get the single high, and then you win your one-on-one matchups on the outside with an accurate quarterback like Michael Penix Jr. I think Texas is good enough to stop the run with a light box, 6-man box, 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and still be able to play 2 high safeties over top.
No, you think they could? You think they could stop Washington's rushing attack with a 6-man?
I do think they can do that.
I mean, look, to be fair,
they're gonna have to try. They're gonna have to try.
I feel like I'm pushing back against you, but here I'll read what I wrote. Texas wins if they can shut down the rushing attack, right? Texas secondary is a glaring weakness. As you said, if you can shut down the rush with 6,
you have to shut it down with a 6-man box. You can't, because shutting it down with a 7-man box, okay, great, but like you're then leaving your DBs one-on-one the outside. and Penix will eat your ass alive.
Yeah, but Washington hasn't proven enough to. I mean, every big game this year they've won, they've run the fuck out of the ball. Now, sometimes more effectively than other, but they will run it. Like, they're going to be committed
I
to
get
it no matter
will,
what.
but they haven't faced it. And in Oregon's defense line, Oregon's defense is great, but like Texas has two guys up front that could be first round, second round picks.
Like, Washington's got dogs up front as well, though. I mean, this is a Joe Moore winner.
Agree. I know. I agree with you.
So I guess
I'm giving my reasoning for them to win here. So like, I'm telling you, like, this has to happen for them. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying if Texas wins, if they can play two high safeties and still stop the run with a 6-man box.
Yes, you are absolutely right. I'm misunderstanding the game here a little bit because we actually agree, right? Yeah. And then look, if you do that, if you shut down the run, what does that put them in? Long to go situations, and then you have a very talented pass rush. Now Washington's only given up 11 sacks on the year, 11 on the year, but. Yeah. Let's say that Texas, to this, theoretical of Texas wins. If Texas is winning, getting these long to go situations and then winning those battles, well, then Washington's just dead in the water. I also think that, again, for Washington to win this game, they do have to be committed to the run. Doesn't have to be dominant, but they got to do it a lot. So they've done every big game this year. This is maybe where if you flip it to the other side of the ball, A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy come into play. Like, can Quinn Ewers in this offense apply pressure to Washington to have to feel the need to play catch up? Because I don't know that I love Washington in that situation if Texas is just going to be able to constantly pin their ears back. So
I see both my keys to this game revolve around Washington on offense, Texas on defense. I think that's it. Because I think Texas is going to get points. Maybe they're not going to score maybe 50 points or in the 40s, but like they're going to score.
You
like
think I'm not worried about that. In the 40s? I don't think they're breaking 40. This game has all the makings of like 35, 31, 38, 35, something along those lines.
Okay, whatever. Mid 30s. I'm just saying, like, my focus is not on that side. My focus is not on Texas offense, Washington defense. Like that will play itself out. If Washington get a couple turnovers, great. Like, my key is still obviously Texas stopping the run with a 6-man box. My key for Washington is, can you be balanced enough to force them into that 7-man box? Like that's the difference in the game. Texas's defensive DBs are obviously on the lower end when it comes to being competitive, when it comes to stats and their ability to stop the pass. If you can get the one-on-ones, you're going to dominate the football game.
Yeah.
You have 3 of the best receivers. You probably have the best receiving core in America.
Yeah.
You have one of the most accurate quarterbacks in America, and not just dink and dunks like Bo Nix style, but throwing the ball vertically down the field. If you can establish a run and create some balance and force Texas to go to more single high, you're going to win the ball game.
Yeah.
Because Penix is going to have an absolute field day. Field day. So like, I'm with you. Like, they have to stay committed to attempting to run the football and having a little bit of success.
So again, I think we view this game the exact same way. Because I said Washington wins if they get Dylan Johnson going, and you look at almost all their big games this year. Let's look against Arizona. They ran it 26 times for 111. First game against Oregon, 23 times for 99. Not the most effective, but in it, Southern Cal, of course, 42 for 316. They ran it 33 times against Utah for 125. Some tough sledding, hard work there. 25 against Oregon State, 30 against Washington State, 37 for 150 against Oregon this most recent timeout. So, like, make no mistake, as Aaron's telling you, we're in complete agreement. That is the key to making this Washington offense really reach its full potential. And like, Penix is going to have successful moments no matter what. But again, if you want to maximize him and his weapons, the reliable rushing attack is the way. How would you score this, though? Some other food for thought here. And I give Washington, and I'm actually choosing the Huskies to win this game. And the reason is I give Washington the advantage in intangibles and coaching and in the quarterback room. And I would give Texas the advantage in overall talent. Now, I think I don't want to put words in your mouth, but a lot of people feel like they think the Texas talent advantage is large enough to overcome those Huskies advantages, right? And maybe the Huskies ones aren't as large as I think they are. But when I look at quarterback, like, I think Penix Jr. is way more proven and ready for the big moment than is Quinn. And if you look at some interesting numbers, you look at big time throws from PFF this year. Quinn Ewers 13, Penix Jr. 33. Now Ewers did miss some time.
Yeah.
The play action percentage, Ewers relies on play action 53% of the time, Penix 30%. Ewers throws screens almost 20% of the time, Penix Jr. 12%. Those are kind of easy button plays for the quarterback. I suppose easier. Stats when blitzed, they're both pretty awesome.
You're talking about two guys. You're talking about two guys right now. If they both came out to the NFL draft this year, would be mid to late first round guys. Like, I don't see that much difference between the two.
Okay,
I don't see that much. I don't think the gap is as big as what you're thinking. And
you're
talking about two of the top quarterbacks in I would say the views of not only college football, but what the NFL views them as well.
So I think Penix is already better just on the field, but then we get into the intangibles. And again, that's where I love Washington here. I think Penix, I think Penix is more proven in the big dick moments than is Quinn Ewers. And he's done it time and time again. I'd extend
more than whipping out your big D than in Tuscaloosa winning a football game. Like that's one of the bigger whip it out moments right there.
Yeah, I mean, they did lose a triple R, but sure. I feel you. That was big, but yeah, that's fair. And look, in that first season against Texas, or the first game against Bama last year, when he only played for like a quarter, he looked like he loved the stage, but we've seen him disappear at times as well.
You talk about that was his first year as a starting quarterback last year.
Oh no, he was awesome in that game. I'm saying it seemed like he loved the big stage at that point.
I know, but then everyone's look at the rest of that season. It was still his first year starting. I mean, how many games? I mean, I guess if you want to point to like the amount of games Michael Penix has played compared to him, and a lot more experience, maybe that's the reason why you believe he can handle it better, because
he's way more
experienced.
Yes, and we've seen him constant every time.
I've seen enough of Quinn Ewers this year. I've seen enough of Quinn Ewers this year in big time games to feel pretty confident that the moment's not going to be too big for him either, though. I put the quarterback as a wash. I
don't agree with that.
I'll disagree with you on that one.
I guess I don't have any great counter argument, because at this point we're just disagreeing about, like, I think Penix has time. I said yesterday, he's just constantly made the play that needs to be played. And I think it extends to this entire Washington team. I think they've been in so many various different types of battles this year, and they figured out a way every time. Now, to Texas' credit, they did deal with a starting quarterback injury, losing their running back for the entire year. In some games, jumping out to huge leads and then watching kind of wither away, but still finding a way to fight. Like, there's been a ton of intangible growth. There's been a ton of growth in the intangible department for Texas this year, especially compared to years previous, where you would have watched them fold and crater. And so Texas is stronger in this than they generally are, but I think Washington's one of the best that I've seen. And then and that's where I get the other advantage. That goes back to coaching. Steve Sarkisian is a scheme master. He obviously really knows how to develop quarterbacks, and he's gotten a lot out of this team. But again, when it comes to winning championships, big games, Kalen DeBoer's resume is really hard to beat. And even if these championships took place on like an NAIA level, he still was against a peer that was also trying to win a championship, and he's consistently won these things. It's the same advantage that he had against Dan Lanning and company. So we'll see. Is that talent gap large enough, or am I just wrong about these being advantages at all for Washington?
I won't disagree with their advantages before we move on. Like, I agree with their advantages. I don't think they're as extreme as advantages maybe in your mind you think they are. Like, you think like there's this major gap of like this huge delta between the quarterbacks, this huge delta between the coaches. I think that gap's smaller, where it's a plus for you in the category, but not like this is the reason why you're going to dominate.
I don't necessarily. No, I didn't say dominate. I think it's like I said. I think it's like a 3-point win type deal.
But dominate enough in those categories to overcome the talent gap.
I think I'm not saying it's a huge gap there. What I am saying is, if you add up those three advantages, I do think then that becomes large enough to overcome that Texas talent advantage.
Maybe. Which game? Let me ask you this big picture for both games. which game could you see of the two turning into a blowout, double-digit win?
I mean, at this point, bro, I mean, what do you mean? It's got to be Bama, Michigan, right? It's got to be
Yeah.
Bama smashing Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen it too many times.
I agree.
I
think this is the better game of the
watch
two.
this fucking movie. Yes, absolutely. I'd be shocked, and that would be. I mean, you want to talk about putting it out on the table? You want to have Texas fans really come at me hard? Like if Texas just came out here and blew out Washington, that would be very impressive. That would be crazy. Though again, the only one I can really see blowing out anybody is the Bama Michigan combination.
Yeah.
So okay, in the end, I'm choosing Bama, and I'm choosing Washington.
Bama, Texas.
You little fucking
rematch,
SEC homer, dude.
Rematch.
You're such a
I've been on Texas all season, man. I can't back away now.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Why don't you
go move to Austin and get obsessed with brisket
boots?
Okay, last thing here, a little fun on the way out. The Duke's Mayo Bowl. Pat Gunther, our wonderful producer, asks, is it the worst celebration in college football? I would. The second, Mayo poured all over him. This is something that the internet really loved for a long time. Now, taste it, yeah.
I tell you what, mayonnaise and fries, though, that's the real combination.
Wow, how European, Aaron Murray. You're so cultured.
I am.
Do they do that in Tampa?
No. Tampa? It was the thing I learned on my honeymoon with my wife to the Netherlands, her father's homeland. Now I'm obsessed with it.
But no, look, I think the internet loved, I should say, the Mayo celebration.
That's my question with Dobby too. Like, should the Mayo have been yellow?
Why?
I thought Mayo was white.
I mean, that looked white to me. I mean, it always has like a yellowish tint. What do you mean?
It looked pretty damn yellow in that video.
I always
thought Mayo was like pretty white.
I think I don't.
PG, can we play it again real quick? Just like the beginning, like that was pretty.
I don't really have a response. Accenting the room. There's lights on. Like
I don't. Pretty yellow.
I don't know. Yeah, like an eggshell. William Anthony Mayo. This is the dumbest fucking conversation that any podcast has ever had, by the way. Congratulations to us. But I love how sincere this is from William Anthony. Mayo is off-white, like eggshell. Yeah, I agree. It is off-white. I agree. Anyway, I will say this. I think the whole Mayo thing has now been loved so long that it's getting that bit of that natural internet rubber band effect, or now people are like, oh, this is lame, or this is like, I still like it. I'll say this, because there is something patently absurd about being doused in mayonnaise, right? Like when I do wonder what that feels like, and I'll probably die without ever knowing what that feels like. Very few would. I don't think it'd necessarily be awful. You might want to wash your face afterwards. Could feel great on other parts of your skin, but I think we're all kind of burying the lead here. Neil fucking Brown was the one in that chair.
Your boy
just went 9-4 with West Virginia. Aaron, they were picked to finish dead last in the Big 12. He goes 9-4, and that's with the Hail Mary loss to Houston and blowing a 28-point fourth quarter lead against Oklahoma State. Like, Neil Brown was this fucking close to go 11-2 after I spent an entire offseason talking about how shitty he was, how he needed to be immediately fired. There was no way he would survive 9-4 for Neil Brown. That's
I'll say this though, you weren't alone with your preseason observation. I think I was there with you, along with probably about 99% of other quote unquote football experts that have watched Neil Brown in West Virginia over the past couple of years. He's officially off the hot seat though. His booty was warm. He was the guy that I was thinking may get fired mid-season, and far from that. But tell me
this: do you agree with fan in the chat who says next year they'll go 7-5?
Probably no.
Dude.
Remember,
No.
It's a weaker conference now.
Shut up. You're doing too much analysis. I'm just talking. Conference. No, I know that, but you're doing too much real analysis. What I am saying is some things are bigger than that. Like Nick Saban just went to the stage, right? I have so little belief in Neil Brown that this is just the cock tease, and that next season they'll like go 7-5 again. And that's so mean and disrespectful to him.
Would be that bad though for West Virginia?
Yes, fuck yes, bro. West Virginia's a proud program. That's disrespectful. Shut the fuck up.
No.
West Virginia won 9 games in a row for like nearly a decade. At least 9 games for like nearly a decade. West Virginia, I feel you. In the money age of college football, they feel like a tougher slate. Hey, let's play this game. You call college games for a living. I did this on my morning show. No one got it. Name me one West Virginia player. Just one. I need one current a 9-4 team that finished 4th in conference, just won the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Name me one player.
I'm not even going to put my hands on the computer to like Google something real quick or go to ESPN. I to be honest, I don't know if I've watched a West Virginia game this year.
No, neither did I, dude.
Nope.
Neither did I. And I mean a current one.
Sorry, Neil.
The one I knew is they had a running back named Cedric Donaldson who was really good, but then he wasn't in the box score last night. And so I don't know what happened to him, if he got hurt or what. But yeah, Garrett Green is their quarterback. That feels like a fake NCAA name. They had like a Benny Bean Jr. return a pick for a touchdown, which also feels like a fake NCAA creative player name. So yeah.
4. Good stuff, Mountaineers.
I agree. The West Virginia most overachieving team in college football. Shout out WVU. Yeah, everybody. Look, B-Bean says Aaron failed the West Virginia Challenge. Even Jake Hester failed it. And Jake and Aaron are both guys that generally will have one line of bullshit to throw out on any college team.
Nothing on West Virginia.
That you ask them. I know.
West Virginia is a team that I think we at least me, I made up my mind preseason with the Neil Brown's going to get fired. They're like, I'm just not going to watch West Virginia football this year.
Yes, I agree. And I fucked up. I've watched so much bad West Virginia. And the one year when I just completely ostracize them, they're awesome. And they go 9-4. So what a bummer. All right, look, guys, we got big weekend plans coming up. Okay. We are going to do reaction shows on Monday, correct? After the 2 games,
we're gonna do a pre-show on Saturday morning, possibly. No.
Okay. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So help me remember, Aaron. I don't fucking remember. Tell me everything we're doing. You tell the people.
Well, first off, we're gonna have a betting show come out tomorrow. So be on the look for one.
Colin Wilson, that's true.
We'll be doing a live, shirtless show from South Beach. So be on the lookout for that one. Some final thoughts heading some of the big bowl games.
It's gonna be Saturday morning.
That'll be Saturday morning.
Okay.
Off Sunday. And then Monday we'll do some reaction shows after the games.
Hell yeah. All right. That sounds a great plan. Also, expect me to be drunk on Monday, as I will have to do my LSU whiskey and wine show, in which literally the entire premise is get T-Bob really drunk at 11 a.m., have him do a post game while smoking cigars. Yeah, it's going to be a day. Hey, thank you all so much, though, for real. We love you. Cannot wait for this upcoming college football. Great games to dive into tonight. What's the nightcap tonight?
God, you keep asking me questions just out of nowhere that they're just not prepared for. Oh, Arizona, Oklahoma. Great game tonight. Great game tonight.
Yes, dude.
Great game
Arizona, tonight. Oklahoma, stay up a little late. Let's go, dude. Can Jed Fishing Company finish it off? I mean, Oklahoma should absolutely lose.
What? No Dylan Gabriel, I believe, in this game. Like, this is going to be an interesting game. I'm fascinated just from the quarterback perspective from Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
Like, this will be my real first time seeing
what isn't it Jackson Arnold and a new offensive line, or they've not had to replace everyone yet? Did everyone opt out?
I think they've pretty much replaced everyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's crazy to go from the end of the year to the bowl game and have a new quarterback and a new O-line. What the fuck? Also, tonight we'll find out in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, which NC State, Kansas State is kind of a nice matchup, but really, I really just have this visual of when you watch piranhas attack a piece of meat where it goes in the water, an animal, and then it comes out just bones. I want the winning team to descend upon the live mascot. And when they all come away from him, it's just like a naked person because they've eaten all the Pop-Tart off of him. I probably won't get that, but also it's pretty cool that Rutgers is playing in the Pinstripe Bowl, right?
Yeah. It's a live mascot. Doesn't mean like it's an actual edible Pop-Tart, correct?
No. I think they said the first edible mascot is what I read.
Edible, not live. Edible.
No, there's plenty of live mascots here.
Yeah,
Both the animal
live.
and human being. Okay, sorry. I think it's the first edible. So I still don't even know if this is the case, but I'm just imagining a person in a giant edible Pop-Tart suit. And then when the game ends, all the winning players just run over and just start munching on them. Start eating them until there's nothing left.
Very
I hope
sexual.
so.
I hope it's real. I have to get an edible Pop-Tart for me to wear for Sharon.
All right. Hey, now, you really would. Aaron Murray's a freak. Don't get it twisted. I just talk a big game. He's the actual freak of the crew, and it's not even close. All right. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Thank you so much. 11-8. We're almost at 12, dude. 12-5 by the Natty. Can we pull it off? We love you. Thank you. And we will see you very soon for some more snaps.